25th January, Paul the Apostle's Feast. Apostle Paul, Roman name, named Saul, Acts of the Apostles, chapter 9, verse 11, chapter 21, verse 39, was from Tarsus, the capital city of Cilicia. Paul was the first person to spread the teachings of Jesus Christ to the non-Jews in the first century. Paul established several Christian communities in Asia Minor and Europe from the mid 40s to the mid 50s AD. Paul was able to redeem the people of Athens by proclaiming Jesus Christ as found in their city council, the Areopagus altar, in the name of to an unknown God. Birth of Paul in AD 5, death AD 68 at Rome. Parents of Paul. Paul's parents were Roman citizen Jews from the tribe of Benjamin in Israel. Romans 11:1. Hebrew-speaking Pharisees. Paul was circumcised on the 8th day. Philippians chapter 3 verse 5. During the days of Paul's youth, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, who was respected by all the people, taught Paul at Jerusalem, and Paul grew up at the feet of this Pharisee according to the scriptures of the ancestors, and was brought up to be zealous for the God of Israel. Acts of the Apostles, chapter 5, verse 34, and chapter 22, verse 3. Languages spoken by Paul: Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. Acts of the Apostles 26:14, chapter 21:37, chapter 22:2. Paul gave the Roman the right to be a Roman. Acts 16:37 and 22 verses 25 and 27. And the Jew the traditional honor of being a Jew. Acts of the Apostles chapter 23 verses 1 to 5. As a Pharisee, Paul was the one who very wisely pointed out the difference in the belief of the resurrection of the dead between the Sadducees and the Pharisees, Acts 23:6, and diverted them from accusing Paul for the spread of the gospel. God's call. The Lord sent Paul to the people of Israel and to the Gentiles in order to free Paul from the self-centered and the aliens, and to open their eyes so that they may turn from darkness to light and from the power of Satan to God, so that they may receive forgiveness of sins and the inheritance of the sanctified through faith in Jesus Christ, and receive the place among God's chosen people. Acts 26:17 and 18. Paul justified his call by saying that the salvation of God had been sent to the Gentiles and that they would listen to it. Acts 28:28. God's protection. The Lord protected Paul through Paul's sister's son from more than 40 Jews who had vowed to kill Paul. Acts 23 verses 16 and 21. The Lord used Claudius Lysias, the commander of the Jewish army, to stand by Paul at night, and he made arrangements to prepare 200 footmen, 70 horsemen, and 200 spearmen at the 9 o'clock in the night, and also horses to carry Paul and bring him safely to Felix, the governor. Acts 23 verses 23 and 24. Felix, the governor at Caesarea, learned through Lysias' letter that Paul was a Roman. Acts 23:27 and 24:23. And arranged for Paul to be kept in governor's headquarters under guard very securely. He even allowed freedom to provide for his needs through Paul's friends. Felix came with his wife Drusilla, a Jewish lady, and invited Paul and listened to Paul about his faith in Jesus Christ. Acts 24:24. Felix learned through Paul about righteousness, self-control, and the coming day of judgment. Acts 24:25. Felix expected money from Paul and did not release him during his tenure as governor. Instead, put Paul in prison to favor the Jews. The successor, Porcius Festus, being a Roman, who is not in the habit of handing over any man accused of a crime before he has met his accusers face to face and had had the chance of defending himself against the accusation, Acts 25:16, favored Paul as Paul pleaded for an appeal to the emperor, Acts 25:12 and 21. When interrogated by King Agrippa in the presence of accusers, Paul narrated his life journey in Christ, and Agrippa said he too may become a Christian on Paul's speech in a short time, to which Paul's prayer to God was whoever was listening to Paul at that instant might become what Paul was, that is, a Christian. After a long journey, storm at sea, shipwreck, etc., Paul arrived in Rome and ministered with local Jewish leaders, staying in a rented house for himself with a soldier guarding him. Acts 27 and 28 chapters. It was Lord's plan to strengthen Paul and to bring him from Jerusalem to Rome to witness for him. Epistles of Paul in the Bible. Romans, written in AD 57 during the third evangelical mission journey, Romans 1:1. Number 2, 1 Corinthians, written in AD 55 in Ephesus, 1 Corinthians chapter 16 verses 5 to 9. 3, 2 Corinthians, written in AD 55 in Macedonia. 4, Galatians, written in AD 51 to 53 in Corinth. 5, Ephesians, written in AD 60 in Roman prison. 6, Philippians, written in AD 61 in Roman prison. 7, Colossians, written in AD 60 in Roman prison. 8, 1 Thessalonians, written in AD 51 in Corinth. 9, 2 Thessalonians, written in AD 51 to 52 in Corinth. 10, 1 Timothy, written in AD 63 to 65 in Macedonia, Greece. 11, 2 Timothy, written in AD 67-68 in Roman prison. 12, Titus, written in AD 63 to 65 in Macedonia, Greece. And 13, Philemon, written in AD 60 in Roman prison. Philemon 1, 9 and 19. Death of Paul. After being released from prison in AD 63, Paul made a fourth missionary journey to Spain and Achaia and preached the gospel, and was arrested and imprisoned for the second time in AD 67 to 68 and murdered by King Nero in AD 68. History says that Paul's body was buried outside the walls of Rome in Italy at the second mile on the Via Austensis in a garden belonging to a Christian woman named Lucina.